Today's video, we'll talk about Chinese-made electric vehicles entering the Canadian market. Welcome to iNews channel, your source for news. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. In recent weeks, a policy announcement from Ottawa, the capital of Canada, has sparked discussion across the automotive and technology sectors. The federal government confirmed that a limited number of electric vehicles manufactured in China would be allowed to enter the Canadian market. While the decision has drawn attention from industry leaders and policymakers, public reaction appears to be more nuanced and, in many cases, pragmatic. For Canadian consumers, the electric vehicle market has been evolving rapidly. Rising fuel costs, climate considerations, and improvements in battery technology have pushed EVs closer to the mainstream. At the same time, buyers are becoming more familiar with connected vehicles, cars that rely on software, sensors, and internet connectivity to deliver navigation, entertainment, safety features, and performance monitoring. Against this backdrop, the arrival of Chinese-made EVs represents another step in a globalized auto market rather than a sudden disruption. At the Canadian International Auto Show, this perspective was evident among attendees browsing the latest models. Diane Dougal and Pat Shepard, who were exploring options to replace their Tesla, said they would be open to considering a Chinese-made electric vehicle. For them, the country of manufacture was less important than factors such as price, range, reliability, and overall performance. They also noted that privacy concerns did not stand out as unique to Chinese vehicles. In their view, nearly all modern cars collect data in one form or another, making privacy a shared characteristic of today's automotive technology rather than an exception tied to a single country. This sentiment appears to be reflected more broadly across the country. According to polling cited in news reports, a majority of Canadians are open to the idea of Chinese EVs being sold domestically. A survey conducted by Leger between late January and early February found that 61% of respondents supported allowing Chinese electric vehicles into the Canadian market. When participants were asked about potential concerns, privacy and security ranked behind other issues. Vehicle quality and the potential impact on Canada's auto industry were the most commonly cited concerns, each mentioned by 38% of respondents. By comparison, about one-third pointed to data privacy and security. These results suggest that while digital safety is part of the conversation, it is not necessarily the dominant factor shaping consumer attitudes. Experts interviewed in news reports have emphasized that data collection is now standard across the automotive industry, whether a vehicle is manufactured in Asia, North America, or Europe. Connected systems are designed to gather information that helps improve safety, performance, and user experience. Modern vehicles can collect location data to support navigation, voice commands for hands-free controls, and driving behavior metrics to assist with collision prevention or driver alerts. Some systems monitor driver attentiveness to reduce the risk of fatigue-related accidents. Infotainment systems track music and media preferences, while cameras and sensors help vehicles understand their surroundings. In addition, smartphones connected to vehicles can introduce another layer of data sharing, enabling features such as messaging, app integration, and real-time traffic updates. As a result, data privacy is increasingly viewed as a broader technology issue rather than a concern limited to the automotive sector alone. From this perspective, discussions about data protection tend to focus less on where a vehicle is built, and more on how data is managed, stored, and regulated. Analysts note that Canada's privacy laws were developed during an earlier phase of the digital era, and are now being reassessed in light of emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence and connected mobility. Internationally, many countries are navigating similar challenges. China has introduced national security and intelligence laws that require companies to cooperate with government authorities when requested. These laws are often referenced in discussions about Chinese technology products entering foreign markets. However, it is worth noting that other countries have comparable legal frameworks. In the United States, legislation such as the Cloud Act allows authorities to request access to certain data held by American companies, even when that data is stored abroad. These examples highlight that questions about government access to data are part of a global policy landscape, rather than an issue confined to any single nation. Industry leaders in Canada have expressed caution, particularly with respect to trade dynamics and long term competitiveness. Brian Kingston, chief executive of the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association, has said that allowing Chinese vehicles into the Canadian market could create challenges for domestic automakers. From an industry standpoint, concerns often center on fair competition, supply chains, and maintaining a strong manufacturing base within Canada. Kingston has also pointed out that connected vehicles, like other digital platforms, raise security considerations that deserve careful review. His comments reflect a broader industry interest in ensuring that new market entrants meet regulatory standards and align with national economic priorities. At the same time, some analysts argue that increased competition could benefit consumers by expanding choice and potentially lowering costs. Chinese EV manufacturers are known for producing vehicles at a range of price points, including more affordable models that could appeal to budget-conscious buyers or first-time EV owners. For policymakers, the challenge lies in balancing economic opportunity with regulatory oversight. Allowing a limited number of vehicles into the market enables regulators to observe how products perform under Canadian conditions, assess compliance with safety and privacy standards, and gather real-world data before making broader decisions. This measured approach reflects how Canada has handled other emerging technologies in the past, allowing innovation to proceed while maintaining a framework for review and adjustment. As EV adoption grows, governments around the world are expected to revisit privacy legislation, cybersecurity standards, and trade policies to reflect new realities. From a consumer standpoint, purchasing decisions tend to be influenced by everyday considerations: cost, reliability, charging infrastructure, warranty coverage, and resale value. While data privacy remains part of the conversation, it often competes with more immediate, tangible factors. As connected features become standard across nearly all new vehicles, the discussion around privacy is likely to shift toward universal safeguards rather than country-specific restrictions. This could include clearer consent mechanisms, stronger data anonymization practices, and updated regulations that apply consistently across manufacturers. Ultimately, the introduction of Chinese-made electric vehicles into Canada represents one chapter in a much larger story: the global transition toward electric mobility. As technology continues to evolve, conversations about privacy, trade, and consumer protection are expected to develop alongside it. Rather than signaling a single outcome, the current moment reflects an ongoing process of adaptation. Governments, industries, and consumers alike are learning how to navigate a transportation landscape, shaped increasingly by software, data, and international collaboration. As the EV market continues to expand, the focus for many Canadians remains practical: finding vehicles that are safe, affordable, and suited to their needs. In that context, the country of manufacture is just one of many factors considered, and not always the most decisive one. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more updates soon.